Hi, my name is Emir Shafri. I'm the creative director at Wine Malaysia, and I'm also part of the ADFEST Buzz team. And we are privileged to have with us Eric Cruz. Now, Eric is actually the ECD at AKQA Shanghai. He also sat on the promo and effective Lotus jury. And he just recently gave a talk, so he's fresh off the stage. And he's made some time to join us. So thanks for joining us, Eric.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah. So Eric,
Yeah.
you've had quite a diverse career. I mean, you grew up in the Philippines, the US, Spain. You worked with Wyden in Portland, in London. You set up Tokyo Lab in Japan. You worked in Leo Burnett, Malaysia, and now you're in AKQA Shanghai. So you worked in so many different places. Now, how do you think being immersed in all these different cultures has shaped you as a creative?
I think it's in my DNA is how I like to put it. And what I mean by that is I think because of the product of me growing up in so many different parts of the world, I naturally have an explorer gene, right? And that explorer gene is sort of what's taken me through my time in Tokyo, in London, in Shanghai now, and then previously Malaysia, right? And I think I grew up in the US, I was schooled there, and certainly I've worked in San Francisco, in LA, and Portland. And my whole thing was there's such a diverse world out there, and I wanted to really explore what would the other parts or the other sides of the world be about, right? And so that took me to Tokyo for about 10 years. And in there is sort of where I really grew up, right? At a place called Wyden Kennedy, right? And what I loved about that is this idea of displacement, right? That to me, the best way to learn about things around the world is to put yourself into different situations in all of those different countries.
All right, let's zoom in on your time in Malaysia. Now, the Leo Burnett Malaysia gig was slightly different from your previous gigs.
Yeah.
And you also had the chance to come in right after the late legendary Yasmin Ahmad. So how did that feel?
Yasmin's actually a friend of mine, right? I met her in 2005 in Singapore. We were lecturing there together, and I'm a big fan of film, especially foreign films, and meeting Yasmin felt very serendipitous because I ended up watching all of her films, and I knew about this place called Malaysia that I had no clue about, even as a Filipino, right? And sometime in 2011, actually I think it was 2010, right? During my last year in Tokyo, I emailed Yasmin because I wanted her to direct a Nike women's spot, right? And she didn't respond back, and I thought maybe she's just busy. A few months later, I learned she passed away, which really kind of broke my heart, and I thought, wow, it's such a loss for Malaysia as a country, right? I ended up moving to London, right? And a year after I moved there, I got a phone call, right, saying, oh, there's a advertising agency that's interested in talking to you. Would you be interested? I said, I don't really know anything about Malaysia, right? The only thing I know about Malaysia is this woman named Yasmin, who's a great, fantastic icon of the country, right? And they said, funny enough, you should ask because that's actually the agency that wants to talk to you. And I was really flattered and also felt really weird, to be quite honest, to be offered something to succeed the late Yasmin Ahmad, because I don't think there's anyone who could succeed her, right? Not anyone in Malaysia could step up to what Yasmin has done, the legend that she is.
So Eric, you're quite a hybrid creative yourself. You are a designer, an educator, you're a creative leader, you are immersed in the digital space, you've done film, music. Now, how can we, other creatives, become as hybrid as you are, especially with the emerging technology that's available today?
Yeah, I think there's two thoughts about that. The first is human beings are human beings and they're interested in many different things, right? And so at what point in time did it become a rule to simply be one thing? And I think you live in a time and age today where Generation Z or the millennials are all about exploring their passion, exploring who they are, exploring what turns them on, right? And I think for most of them, they're very plural in nature. They don't have to work in one place for 20 years. They can explore many different angles of what their interests, what their DNA is about. That if I'm interested in photography, if I'm interested in writing a song, if I'm interested in directing a film, and if I'm interested in becoming a YouTube star, as well as being an advertising creative, it's possible to do today.
Now, Eric, with all this emerging technology bringing us closer to the age of superhuman, it brings us so many opportunities, but at the same time, it brings with it some challenges. Now, what challenges do you foresee in this new age, and how do we keep up?
I think I look at it less so as a challenge, right, but as an opportunity, right? An opportunity to make new things happen. I think there's a lot of really interesting stuff like VR technology, like inventing new things that didn't exist. So when you ask the question of what am I excited about, I think it's less so one particular thing as it is. I think the way that technology is emerging is there's new pieces of technology such as body tracking, such as heart rate tracking. And I think finding the opportunities to apply that into something useful is, I think, what I'm more excited about than any one particular bit of technology.
Thank you so much for spending your time with us.
Very nice to meet you. Thank you so much.
Nice.